Welcome to my final video and course reflection. Hi, I'm Tracey Nesrallah, and I'm a grade 6 teacher from the Ottawa Catholic School Board. I'm a dog mom to Boyd, actual mom to Joe and Alice. And why I bring them up will come clear later. So let's talk a little bit about my final video. There were some good points, some bad, and boy, do I ever hate the sound of my voice. Welcome to class. So I really enjoyed making my video, but did I struggle? I had so many interruptions. The day that I was finally filming the screencast, the phone rang, the dog barked, my mother-in-law dropped by, etc., etc., etc. My tongue and my mouth did not want to work that day either, so I could not speak clearly to save my life. But I did finally find my groove. And after many takes, I was finally able to kind of speak clearly. I loved how the Google Slides turned out this time. I chose a different um, theme other than the one that I used last time. And I just love this theme, and I will be using it a lot in the future because I love the colors. I just loved everything about it. There was a couple things that I wish I could go back in time and fix. I wish I could have maybe followed my script a little better. There's one point where the word collaboration comes up, and I said cooperate, which now that I've seen the video and it's already been published, I was like, oh, I wish I would have fixed that. And I also really missed a great opportunity to talk about using my HAPRA how to show people that you can use HAPRA Workspace to work collaboratively with resource students and resource teachers and really trying to make that connection to this piece of the puzzle. I wish that I would have included that in my video. I also loved looking at everyone else's videos. It kind of gave me some great ideas for my own classroom, first of all, and I learned a lot of things, like how to do certain things. And I also really loved seeing how the colleagues were able to take their original video and change it up and make it better. So I really learned a lot from that. And I really enjoyed doing the video. The HAPRA champion course. So I wasn't bored this summer. So that was a really big part of my summer for me, was working on this course. So my life is changing rapidly right now. I've always had summer with my kids. Every summer, they're home from school. But now life is starting to change really fast. And as you can see from this picture, I am now the shortest member of my family. My family's growing up and they're just not around as much anymore. So summer vacation is really different now. So my son Joe, he is 17. He has a full-time job and his driver's license, so he's just not around as much. My daughter Alice is 14 and she's babysitting and volunteering and going to camp. So she hasn't been around a lot either, or hanging out with her friends. So it's a totally different summer for me. So I do need to find things to do that are fun, but give me a sense of purpose. So I found that this course kind of was high interest for me. But it gave me something to do on those days where either nobody was around, or I wasn't into a good book, or it was too hot to go outside. Um, that's what was great. Um, what I really loved about the course itself was I enjoyed the creative outlets. Like I loved making the videos. I loved uh, playing with the different tech. It was a great way for me to try different mediums that I would like to use with my students, but try them as a student creating work. Um, I really enjoyed that I had the chance to try Lucid Press, and I loved how that turned out for my teaching philosophy. I've gotten really great at making screencasts, and I loved learning how to do GIFs and And yeah, I love the creative part of it. What I was most surprised that I was going to learn, I did not expect learning about GIFs or HTML. I really, like, that was just so over my head, and I just did not know. Like, the first time I was playing around with it through the course, it took me a really long time to figure it out. But once I did, now I can really see how I would use this educationally. Of course, like, I've been making GIFs and putting them and texting them to my kids and putting them on Twitter. But I've also been adding them to my workspace headers and just showing, the kids where I want them to click. I've been adding them to Google Slide presentations as a quick way of showing them what I want them to do on that slide. I tend to do a lot of my math on Google Slides. So by embedding that GIF there, I can show them what I want them to do. So if I want them to, like, I'm doing a blackout poetry with my students on the first day of school. So I created a little GIF showing them just how to create that blackout poetry. So it's so useful. I was really surprised to learn that. I also really loved learning through exemplars. Like, I loved just the way the whole HAPRA trainer course was laid out as the workspace. Like, I learned so much just from the actual workspace, using groups, not just using groups as a way to sort my students, but a way to make the workspace more usable. Like, so I could click on it and just that subject matter is shown. I really liked that. I really liked just seeing really good best practice by having that Google form and then kicking out the sheet and as a great way of sharing. I thought that was really cool. So I'd never really seen that before. And seeing it on the workspace just made me curious, like, oh, I wonder how that is done. So I just figured it out and started using it. And now I can really see how I'm going to use that with my students. Um, and I also love just seeing everybody else's workspaces, like the colleagues, all my colleagues. First, it really pushed me to make a really good Rockstar workspace because I'm kind of competitive, and I was just like, well, someone else is going to be looking at this like how I was looking at everyone else's. And I really want someone to click on mine and go, wow, that's a really cool workspace. I was very motivated by that. Um, but it was really great to see how other people use the columns or what kind of tech they're using with their students, like if other things other than like Flipgrid and Screencast, like what else are they using? So I thought that was really interesting. So I learned so much. Um, the HAPRA Champion courses, it's been a great year of PD for me. I actually I used highlights and I used that part and put, like, Smart Share. I've been using those parts of the suite for a couple of years now, but I never had any experience with Workspace until exactly a year ago. I sat down with one of my friends, Bonnie Caminiti, who is actually a HAPRA champion trainer as well. I saw some of her stuff in the Workspace. But I sat next to her at a pool and she just showed me how to use Workspace. And it really opened um, my whole classroom and my whole teaching um, changed because of that. So then I registered in the educator course through the OCSB and I learned so much for that. I became obsessed. I almost became like the ShamWow guy. I needed like a headset and I would do demos in the staff room. I was just nobody at my school was using Workspace, and so I just started showing people. So I was really motivated to take the Scholar course because I was sharing it so much in my school. So I took that in the spring through the OCSB, and I actually had no intention of taking the trainer. I just didn't think it was for me. I thought it was just for school board types. But then one of my friends was taking the educator course through you guys through HAPRA instead of through the OCSB. And she was like just going on and on. And then I was like, oh, and it just gave me something to do this summer. And boy, I'm so glad I took it. Um, HAPRA has, really changed my classroom. I feel that my students are safer online. I feel that they're using their time better online. I found more positive ways of using highlights with my students. Um, they're becoming better researchers because I can see and I can show them best practice, like, hey, check out this kid, so and so just found this. And I love that about um, HAPRA dashboard. It really challenged my pedagogy. Like, I used to be sort of a whole class instruction type of girl, and that's kind of how I ran my classroom. And HAPRA has really kind of pushed me more into, rotation, centers, um, letting kids have more choice. So instead of them just typing out a recount, they could make a video, they could do it in Book Creator, they could there's like I just try to give them more options now because it's easy to give options in Workspace. I'm trying to like really engage my students, and I find through Workspace, even just by adding a GIF or a funny Bitmoji as a header, it makes the kids more excited about this project. Um, and then I love the thing I most love about Workspace is how easy it is to differentiate for my students. And those students who do require some accommodations, they they don't even really need to know that their work is different. They only see their cards, and I just think it's so amazing that that tool is here for us. Um, and mostly I've loved these courses because I do love sharing my learning with my colleagues. And this course especially has made my ability to share um, more efficient. So I've actually started to make my own Happer workspace for the teachers at my school, and I'm calling it kind of like a little toolbox. So I have all the questions that they always ask me, those frequently asked questions like, how do you make those cool header cards? And so I've created like a little screencast on it, super personal for my school. It's me making them, and then I've shared all my like some of my resources that I've learned, and so now it should make it a lot easier for me to help my colleagues, but not shoot myself in the foot by like stealing my own prep away from my students. So I'm really excited about that. Um, Mostly this year, I've loved being part of this Happer community that you guys have created on Twitter, on the Mighty Networks, in my own school board with our own hashtag. Um, I've just gotten so many ideas from so many different places, like from New Zealand to the United States. I've seen really cool things happening all over the world, and I just love feeling it and making it my own, and just bringing that into my classroom. So it's been I just love that. So I just want to say thanks. I've really enjoyed the course. I especially look forward to the digital badge. It's probably, unfortunately, my favorite part of the whole process is the digital badge. So please don't take that away from future cadre members because really it's the best. So thanks so much, Hapra. And now that I know how to say your name properly, I will be telling everyone about you.